are rolling.
Thanks for getting in touch, guys, because anyone that listened to the last show sent through some feedback on what they liked and didn't like, just to give us a bit more of a direction, because me and Mike, we didn't have a Scooby who was listening whatsoever. So this makes things a lot easier. So I can already open up with one good one that come through. Hi, guys. I've been listening to the show for a while now. I generally just enjoy you guys talking shit, to be honest. Fucking happy days, mate.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Happy days. I tend to value your guys' general opinions on matters. I'm not sure if that's smart, mate, to be honest. The coaching stuff is good, but even stuff like talking about your own goals and industry goals is good to hear and gives me as a young coach something to aspire to. I'm a physio and sprints coach and want to be sprinter for reference. Another one, interesting. I'm a personal trainer and strength and conditioning coach. I listen because you guys are real, open-minded, and don't pretend you have everything figured out. That is true. I love the episodes with the athletes as I find the way their mind works fascinating. That being said, my favorite episode so far is the one with Tim Foley. Fucking crazy Tim. Tim's gone back to the US after like 8 years. So we should get him back on and see how crazy he's going.
I know. I tweet with him. I send condescending tweets to him every now and then.
Oh yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I love the coach and athlete stuff, but it's also fun to just hear you guys talk shit. Right. Well, we will keep doing that. I promise you on this one. I'm not 100% sold on the financial and artistic stuff, but I do appreciate the way you guys are able to draw parallels between that information and things that are more up my alley. Honestly, it's my favorite podcast bar none, and I look forward to every Wednesday when that shit drops here in New Zealand. Thanks, boys. You keep making them. I'll keep listening. I'm trying to see of the other ones if there's anything else, but more or less, guys seem to enjoy it, and some people do like the artistic and financial ones too. So a guy here, favorite episodes, Cal Deeds, Kia, and Swiss Money guys. So yeah, so I guess we keep doing what we're doing, mate, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. The overwhelming majority is strength coaches that listen to this podcast. And to be honest with you, I just had no idea. I didn't know if it would be strength coaches. I wasn't sure, but I sent it to you the other day. Our most listened to, our most downloaded episodes were, I won't give you guys specific numbers, but number one was our first episode with Cal Dietz.
Yeah.
Number two was the episode with Jim Wendler. Number three, our first episode with Kier.
Yeah.
Number four,
a great podcast. That one with Kier. That was a great podcast. That first one, and also the second one was also good. But that one was really good.
They were all they're all these have been good. The one with Mandy,
yeah,
Buddy Morris, and then Path. So I don't know if strength coaches are listening to Jim Wendler, right? Like it's not like all these strength coaches are tuning in to hear what wisdom Jim has to say about sets and reps, because he just doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
You know, but guys, when it's Cal, everyone fucking tunes in. Everyone wants to hear what the fucking mad scientist has to say.
What crazy shit he's up to.
I had people tell me that they listened to a couple of Cal's episodes like 2 or 3 times.
I was trying to explain. I had some guys stretching and doing some box breathing stuff, and I get these guys to hold. So it's like a typical quad hip flexor where the shin bone is on the wall. You know what I mean? Knees right in the gap between the wall and the floor. And I try and get them in there for 5 minutes and holding box breathing just to really open them up. But it's just horrible position to be in for 5 minutes. So we started talking about some stuff, and one of the guys said, "What's been the craziest person you've had on the show?" And the first one that come up in my head was Cal. And then I was trying to explain to them the mammalian dive reflex for recovery that he was doing with guys to mimic drowning. So, and they're like, "You're not going to try that, right?" I was like, "I don't know. Not yet. Not yet."
So majority of the feedback we got, people love that you and I are just talking shit back and forth. Mm-hmm. They like that we sprinkle in the sets and reps of lifting information, but I mean, they don't really, and it's strength coaches. The overwhelming amount of strength coaches like, dude, we're so fucking sick and tired of the typical bullshit that people talk about on podcasts, and you guys just don't talk about it. So I mean, I guess we now, knowing that our audience is strength coaches, but knowing that our strength coach audience just doesn't give a fuck what we talk about for the most part, that's essentially what it's coming down to. There a couple of guys like things, a couple of guys don't like things, and then everyone else was we had people that said they loved the money episodes, people that said they didn't.
Right.
So I don't my take on
can't please everyone. We can't please everyone, right? But I mean, in general, from looking at the feedback, I mean, I was surprised how many people reached out. I don't know about if you were.
Yeah.
I was surprised because it takes a lot for people to actually spend the time to send. Like, we had some lovely messages from some guys, some guys sending voice notes. So we've planned now. So we've got an upcoming guest list. We have Dieter, the Swiss finance guy, coming on next. So the next podcast after this, where it will be a much more kind of a workshop, a financial workshop on terms of investing. And we took some of the more common questions that people have about how to sort of financial plan their situation. And then after that, we have, is it Uwe?
No, after that, we'll either have Uwe or we'll have Justin on. But I don't know if it'll be immediately after that. But with what we're doing with Dieter, listen, some of you strength coaches may not like when we talk about money. And I understand that. I get it. I actually fucking despise. My dad was a CFO and chief financial officer of a publishing company. My whole life, I was taught how much things cost, how much this, how much that. You're spending too much here. Like, my whole life was money. I fucking hate this shit. But money buys you freedom.
Yep.
It is it's a weird fucking dynamic, but it buys you freedom. So when you guys, there's a lot of clearly the strength coaches that listen to this know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about, where you have to take a job that's across the country. There's nothing worse for a fucking family than having to pick up and move every 2 years. Every 2 years, every 3 years on average. That's what these fucking guys have to do eventually, because sometimes it's, well, you're stuck someplace for 5 years, or you're fortunate enough to have a job for 5 years, and you pick up and move and do this and pick up and move and do that.
Right.
And you're chasing the money.
Yeah. And a good and bad thing is when you get a job, then say like Justice for 10 years, and you think, well, I've been here 10 years. So, I think that I might be getting treated a bit differently, but still you might buy a house and then ciao.
Yeah.
So, I mean, having a job is tremendously difficult. But the nice thing is as well is we don't just have strength coaches working within sort of the professional industry. We also have private guys too, which is also good to share, because I'm sure that, and it goes vice versa. Some guys that are in the professional field, they've never even thought about how is it possible to, open up my own thing so I have a bit more ownership. It's not taking away any risk. If anything, it's a bit more risky, especially at the beginning, but it's a very different situation. Your life is much more within your own hands. So I think it's important too that after Dieter, and I've mentioned this already to you, is we try and look at also some guys that are more coming from the entrepreneurial side, where it's about not just about saving money, but also about how to actually generate more, because you can never save 100% of your income. So, and if you have certain desires like owning a house, or not even the glamorous shit, but just the basics that you don't want your kids to have to worry, you want to know that you can put them through college. Saving money to that way for some people, unless you have a high paying job, is going to be very difficult, especially since everything is getting more expensive and inflation's going up and the world is going crazy. I mean, if you look at the price of wood recently, it's very hard to know what the current climate looks like. So I think Guillaume, who is a friend of mine, I think he should come on and discuss about different entrepreneurial perspectives on what you can do as a coach, because I think you can actually, there's some guys out there making some good money online and different things like that, and that can just be on the side to what you're doing, so that it's not just it's not like you have to leave your job and take a whole big risk with things. You can actually do things on the side.
Yeah. And I talked to a couple of financial planners that shared this point of view. The days of working a job for 25, 30, 40 years, and then retiring and getting your gold watch are over. And working one job, the days of working one job are virtually over. Everyone needs an extra source of income. You need another revenue stream. So I own a gym. I need another revenue stream. So my revenue streams are my coaching staff, my current salary or whatever, the fuck I make, who I'm training. But then on top of it, my gym needs to increase in popularity so I can get sponsorships, so I can potentially sell product. There's another source of income. Then on top of that, we have a podcast. If the podcast gets bigger, then then the podcast can generate sales for product.
Right.
And it can also generate sponsorship sales or, donations, but strength coaches are typically broke. So I'm not looking for any fucking donations from you guys.
Yeah, no.
But it's everything you do now. No, you can't rely on one source of income because, especially in strength and conditioning, which is one of the reasons why I'm happy I didn't get involved in it. You guys are fucked in the college sector, in the pro sector. You get butt fucked. Yep. It sucks. It fucking sucks. You don't know when your next job is. And the only people that have any kind of job stability are the guys making dog shit.
Right.
Those are the only ones with any stability. Right. I know 5 guys making shit that I can list off the top of my head. One's involved in real estate. One's involved in seminars. One's involved in fucking websites.
Right.
They have to in order to survive. You guys are making minimum wage, probably less than minimum wage, if you go by the hours that you put in for the salary that you're getting.
Right. And regardless of if you think it's correct or you don't, nowadays it's not even the best man for the job because there's a whole load of sort of cultural influences that are going into these academic industries, and it's just, man, it's scary. It's a nightmare. You think that, we know some guys that are they're the top earners in the field, right? We shouldn't probably mention names, but they're earning really good money at the top of the industry in terms of S&C in the US, right? But that job ain't lasting for more than 5 years. Realistically, or maybe you're the 1% that you are, but in general, it's not a very secure and safe job. And I really respect the guys that go out there and do it, but I can only imagine how hard it is.
So there are 120 or 130 Division 1A schools. 1A schools that will pay a 6-figure salary for a strength coach job. And, 1A schools would probably pay maybe more than 6 figures, or not more than 6 figures, but low 6 figures, right? Then after that, you have 350 Division 3 schools. And then maybe another 100, or maybe an extra 100 Division 1 AA schools, and they don't do 1A, 2A anymore. I forget what FBS or whatever the fuck it is. And then there's 200 or so Division 2 schools. Now we're talking, maybe NAIA and all that shit. Maybe 1,000 colleges in the United States. Not all 1,000 have strength coaches. Right? Not all the 350 Division 3 schools have strength coaches, and the ones they do, they're making $40,000 to $60,000 a year. So there's only maybe 50 schools where you'll make substantial money. 50, and then like the guys that are earning the real top 1%, well, that's the 1%. There's fucking 10, 15 guys, maybe 20 guys making serious bucks. Other than that, so you're talking over 1,000 guys that you're competing with.
Right.
Over 1,000 guys.
And also, let's say, what's the biggest salary in terms of a head coach? What is it? It's 750?
Something like, I think all in, a guy has made $1 million a year in college.
Right. But then I'm not sure if the tax situation's changed, but then that's 50% going straight to Uncle Sam. Right. Mm-hmm. So, and then you start taking off all the other things, and then probably like the relocation costs that you've got to do. And, before you know it, the job looks like it's paying a lot of money, but before, what you're taking home is different. If you end up running through a business and you generate $1 million a year, you can hopefully and legally, of course, and ethically, and all the other bullshit that you have to end up saying. But you can write off a lot of costs for a business because that's the way that the system's designed. So
if you work for a university, you can't write off anything.
no, you can't write off shit. No, of course not, because it's a job. And also, you got to be careful what you say. The vulnerability that you can get. I mean, nowadays people are going back through old, your old Twitter or Facebook and looking for something from 8 years ago, and then they can come out and try and fuck you over. I mean, I'm glad we never got involved, but that's not just, there's a lot of great dudes out there with it, and I feel for them that they have to deal with that. So if we can provide some kind of information to help ease the burden or give them a bit more support or security in another way, I think we should definitely do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And we've had strength coaches on here where we've had to edit the podcast because they've come back and like, maybe I shouldn't have said this.
No,
I
I
don't give a
can't say
fuck.
that. Yeah.
Well, edit it all. I don't give a fuck. I know how ruthless it is. So now when you work for someone else, you're at their standard, and their standard changes left and right with the fucking wind. It done,
right.
So
you can't even be real. And the crazy thing is that we weren't even talking about controversial shit.
No, we're talking about diet.
Exactly. And just menial things like this. But now that's the reality of the world and the way that society is going into. So, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. So I'm not poo-pooing being S&C by any stretch of the imagination. But what my thought is, for you guys, it is volatile. It is unstable. It's fucking unfair. It blows being an S&C right now, because it blows being in academia, let alone being the low man on the totem pole in academia, being the fucking meathead strength coach, whether you're a meathead or not. I mean, there's strength coaches that have PhDs that are fucking brilliant people that you talk to the AD, well, you're just a strength coach. So like, I have a fucking doctorate. You have an MBA. What the fuck do you know about this shit? You know what I mean? So I feel very deeply for these guys, because these are all my fucking friends. These are my colleagues, right?
Yeah, sure.
So we have, you guys have a responsibility to learn about finances so you're protected. We don't want to, but we need to. They're just things that we should do so our family, so we can sleep at night, and so our family's taken care of. Realistically, if you guys are fortunate enough to get that $500,000 a year job or earn $1 million a year and walk away at 500,000, if you have that for 5 years, you're walking home with you're walking home with 1.25 million.
Right.
If you get $500,000 a year, and if you get $1 million a year, you're walking off with 2.5. Well, that's really not that fucking much money.
No, not to live off of.
No, that's not that much. So your peak earning potential, that window, is so fucking narrow.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so narrow. My dad, towards the end of his career, is when my dad made all his money. Not all, majority of his money in the last 3 years. And then he got fired because a new CEO came, just like with the new head coach. Same thing happens in any other fucking industry. My dad's a CFO. He's the next step down from the CEO. New CEO has his own CFO in mind. So my dad got fired. He got weeded out, and then he got a lovely severance, whatever, but that was it. Bye-bye.
Right.
And then he's too old at that point, because once we start making money, that means we've been around for 20, 30 years. And we know we've had guys on this podcast that have been coaching for 30, 40 years that don't make any fucking money.
Yeah, and the best coaches working with the most Olympians, and they're struggling to pay healthcare. So I mean, what the fuck,
What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? Exactly.
I talked to Keir about this, and I've had internal struggles regarding where I want to go. Do I want to be the best coach in the world? Because that's how I am. That's how I'm motivated. I'm not gonna do something if I'm not gonna be the fucking best at it. It's why waste my fucking time? And Keir said to me very simply, he goes, well, would you rather be the best coach in the world and be broke? Or would you rather be a millionaire and help more people? Fuck. Well, if I'm a millionaire, then I don't even have to charge all these people. I could help this entire place. You know what I mean? Like that.
Right.
Fuck. Like I have. All right. And if I'm within the 95% and not the, like.
Right. Yeah. And you can still be in the top 1%, but you don't have to be the number one.
Yep.
Because that might require a whole other level of dedication and work, to get there, anyway. Yeah.
But that's what it comes down to is, I mean, to be happy, to have a good family life, to be able to support your family, not just financially, but emotionally. So if you don't have to worry about finances, then it's going to be that much easier for you to do things. So essentially, Brooker and I talking about this is trying to talk you guys into being more into your finances from more than just, I have a paycheck and my wife handles it.
Right.
Or whatever the fuck you guys do with it.
And I think even more than that, like the whole podcast, I mean, if anything, what we're really trying to do is we're trying to help people so that they don't get fucked over.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, right? And I mean, from every kind of level. So we share the things that we've made mistakes with, the things we're interested in. I mean, even with the financial stuff, this is learning. This is not coming from a place of expertise. This is like we're going out, reaching out to our networks. We both have great networks, trying to learn and then share that information on. Because, I mean, also another point is there's so anyone that's listening to this now, and I'm sure there's going to be some young guys that are interning in universities or colleges or whatever, and probably feeling a lot of angst. There is no perfect place. I mean, if you want to go the opposite route, which is the one that me and you did, which is business ownership, okay. Yeah, maybe there's more reward at the end, but there's also a lot of times when you don't know if you're going to get paid or not. Mm-hmm. So there's a whole other world of problems, and there's no pathway through life where there's not constant and progressive challenges that you have to sort of overcome. So, there's no perfect way to do it. But if you guys get in touch and have specific questions about the situation that you're in, we can also ask all of these great guys that we've got coming on. We can actually ask those questions, and maybe we should do that more, is announce who we have coming up so that some of the interested listeners can actually ask direct questions to them, because that might be really good. Because say like Dieter, for example, he wanted to know, who am I talking to? Who is this person? How much do they earn? Like there's a big difference between $100,000 a year, 250 or 2 million a year. So who am I talking to here? Mm-hmm. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah.
So then we have Dieter, then we're going to have on Justin Tradow, and we already had on Justin. But Justin is a former NFL guy. For those of you that haven't heard that episode, and this motherfucker's a grinder. Now,
warrior.
What's that?
Warrior.
Yeah. Fucking warrior. He is going to be successful in whatever field he wants to do, and he chose real estate. He's just one of those guys that doesn't know how to fail. He won't fail, because if he fails, he just stays up all night, every night of the week, and reads and learns and talks to people and thinks and thinks and thinks and plots until he figures it out. So right now he's doing real estate, and he is crushing it. Now, everyone's crushing it in real estate right now. I think right now the statistic is something like there's more real estate agents than there are houses available.
What?
It's something stupid like that. It's fucking outrageous. But Justin is one of the guys that's super successful right now, and the COVID situation has made it even better for him.
Right.
So we're going to have Justin come on and discuss. Now, when he was in the NFL, while he was in the NFL, he started buying multi-unit housing, and he didn't have a property manager. He handled everything himself. His first purchase was like a 3-unit in Weehawken. 3-unit place in Weehawken that was like from the 1900s that he renovated himself, well, not himself, but he was the GC on the renovations and everything like that. He learned everything. Then he bought another one. And now what he's doing is he's buying, and I invested with him. I am so stingy with my money and who I invest with. I invested with him. He's buying completely fucked up properties, refurbishing them, doing everything that he has to, renovating them, and then flipping them. And he's even changing what they're doing. So if they're regular multi-units, he's converting them to condo sales. So he's doing a really, really good job. And we're going to have him on to break down some of the numbers and figures on how you guys could possibly do multi-units. And everyone's talking about multi-units, and it's like the new thing for everyone to do, but fuck, you might as well live for free if you don't know when your next fucking paycheck's coming in. So it might, hey, you got neighbors, big fucking deal. You eat a little shit early on, live on some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That way later on, you could fucking actually have some kind of retirement. People in our situation have no retirement. We have no 401k that our school pays into. We have no pension that our school has to fucking pay into, that someone has to take care of us. We're on our own. We need to do our own investing. We need to do our own everything. And if my business doesn't grow to the point where I can sell it, if I scale it and if I make it scalable, then it's, if I don't make it scalable, it's not sellable.
Right.
Okay. So my retirement needs to be based on my investments, just like every other personal trainer out there. Every other personal trainer is just like this. So learning how to do this is a very, very big deal. Now, I'm not saying you got to do real estate, but it's one avenue that you can go down. And we have someone that is going down that avenue that used to be a client of mine that is doing it within two years. 2 years, he started annihilating this. It's not difficult to learn, but it's a very exhausting process. And he has a really cool partner as well. So he'll be an avenue that we walk down. And I'm personally walking down that avenue as well. So I might as well go into this now before I talk about the next one. I have a house down the road from the gym. That's a 3-unit. And it also has some commercial space in front for sale. I've been looking at this house for 2 or 3 months now. I can't get a contractor. I'm on my 7th contractor, 7th or 8th contractor. It is so much work to get this house done, but I'm willing to pay for it, and I'm willing to take all the loans and all this stuff, but no one wants to do the work. It's a fucking nightmare for me right now.
Why? Because it's such a shithole or what?
No, because so right now, the way, I don't know anything about contracting, right? I know that, you got to get an electrician, a plumber, and this and that. And if you hired me to figure things out, I know I'd be able to figure it out. It's not rocket science, but I don't know anything about it right now. The best that I can guess is that my job is so big, it's going to take long. The returns, so they get more money from me, but over a longer period of time. So it's not as big of a, it's not like eating a donut. It's like eating a carrot.
Right.
Right. It's not dense, calorically dense. Right. So they'll make a bigger return, like a bigger percentage return on their time from doing a kitchen or from doing a bathroom.
Right.
Not from doing a whole house. So if they do one thing at a time, they'll make more money. If they do the whole fucking thing, it's less, but they'll make a greater chunk of money. So when things are slow, they want my project. But when things are booming right now, they don't want my project because it takes up too much of their time.
Right.
My project is a complete rehab. Rehab. They have to rip the walls out. They got to put in new electricity. We need to put in 3 more meters. I mean, this fucking place is a tenement.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tenement. I went in there. I said, there's no way this place can pass. No way this place is up to code. For some reason it is. And they're trying to sell it to me as is. They say, listen, this is a moneymaker now. I said, yeah, I can't fucking have this. Like, if you go in there, it's like one of those cartoons where like the roaches are crawling and smoking cigarettes. Like, it is
like that place I stayed in Allendale.
Worse. It's worse.
Wow.
It's incredibly worse, but there's great opportunity there.
Sure. So
the way that I've done the numbers is, if I get this place, and the numbers need to be for under $1 million, everything all together with the loans and everything like that. It needs to be under $1 million with the construction. The people that will do it, they're telling me it's going to be $600,000 worth of construction. So that's just too much fucking money. Then the rents don't match up to the loan, the mortgage plus the construction loan plus the taxes. Then you're losing money on the deal. And then the reappraisal isn't worth anything if you wanted to flip it and do all that stuff. But my goal, the way that this thing is going, is I can get it to be earning X amount of dollars. If it's for under $1 million, the whole project, then that will fund I'll live there for a handful of years. But then once I move out, those 3 units plus a commercial space will pay my mortgage for my forever home.
Right.
Or for my perceived forever home. So then I can put my, 10, 20, 30% down, whatever I'm going to put down on my forever home. And the money from this will help pay that. And then I can start saving. So my goal is to use an asset to pay for my home, which homes are typically liabilities because you're not making any money on them. So now I have a free home, or at least a discounted home. So that's my goal with this, but I can't get anyone to fucking do it. It's incredible. I've never seen more people not want to work. I had contractors stand me up. I had a guy say, yeah, I'll be there at 4. 4 comes and goes. 5 o'clock comes. I call the fucking guy 3-4 times. He goes, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm like, how can you just fucking, we have a meeting. Like, what the fuck? And I said, all right, let's do it for next week. He never got back to me because these guys drive by these jobs and they see how big the fucking job is. Like, I want no part of this.
Yep.
It's
and also they're worried also because if they budget a job, I mean, wood went up like, I think, what was it? I could be wrong, but 600%, something outrageous.
I don't fucking
but if you think about it from their point, I mean, look, I'm not supporting them at all, but they're looking to save their ass too, right? So if they want to take on your job and it's going to take a year and material cost is so volatile and it's like, right, we might need more of this, but we haven't budgeted. I mean, in a construction job, you might put up to 20% reserve just in case, right? Plus minus 20% because you never know, shit happens, etc. Right? But I mean, with the way that the material stuff is and all that, and especially right now with the climate, it's a hard one. I get it. A kitchen, they can do it in 3 days. They know, okay, I need this. Like, this is it. To do that thing, once they start bringing it down, and from experience, as soon as you start working on a big house, there's always shit you're not expecting that comes up. So
listen, they need to eat too, so you can't be nickel and diming these people. Like, I hate when people negotiate me down.
Right.
I'm also not trying to rob people either, right? So
sure.
Now the next aspect is one of my coaches is redoing his house.
Right.
He moved here from New York, trying to redo his house now, and got a contractor that's been a nightmare for him. He comes in almost every day and wants to fucking murder someone because the guy just won't stop lying to him. He's now paid him over $120,000 more than the original estimate.
Right.
I mean, this guy is he's charging him $120 for like air conditioning vent that costs $20. It's like, what the fuck? So like the markup that this guy is doing to these to one of my buddies is outrageous. I mean, it's a nightmare. So imagine, let's say that your life savings is X, and then you've budgeted this, and you're at the top of your fucking budget, and this is all you can fucking do. Otherwise, you can't make the money. And now this guy says, "Oh, by the way, it's 30% more than what you budgeted."
Right.
Well, I already have my life savings, and this is how much I make.
Right.
And because of COVID, I'm taking a pay cut. Like, yo, fuck you.
Yeah.
Now
it's fucked up.
That's
terrible. Really fucked up. And that's one of the nice things about you could, or I mean, I'm sure that also you can get it negotiated over there too, but you have contracts down where people have liability, so if certain things come out, okay, if there's like a complete disaster, maybe there's a clause there, but in terms of like additional costs, I mean, your coach, he has to also put his fucking foot down and be like, yo, I mean, if we want to continue working here, you need to stop being a cunt.
Well, here's the other thing though, too. You put a deposit down sometimes. Right. So now this guy just walks away with the money, and then you have to file suit.
Right.
And then you got to find someone else to clean up someone else's fucking spilled milk.
No, sure.
It's tough.
Sure.
And I can't find a fucking contractor right now, so you bet your ass he can't.
Right.
So no contractor is going to want to walk into someone else's fucking unfinished mess for bare bones money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's no way. That's a nightmare to walk into. So this guy knows that he's got him by the balls, so it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's had like fucking panic attacks over this shit. It fucking sucks. So it ain't all fucking, that's why I'm on my 7th fucking contractor, because this shit could be a kick in the dick.
Right.
It could be it could be your worst nightmare.
And it's good why we go over this, especially with someone like Justin, because nowadays online you see all these get rich quick things, and
and
everyone's talking about
everything is.
how easy it is on real estate and like 10x in and all, you know. But you know, the truth is, man, there's no free lunch, and everything's difficult. Because if it weren't difficult, every Tom, Dick, or Harry would be doing it. So this job, Justin told me that this job that I want to do, he says, Mike, this is no joke. He said, this is a lot of stress. This is exactly what Justin does. So my thought is, all right, I'll pay a general contractor. And Justin and I have gone over the numbers because he does all this work. He does the development. So we've looked at honest numbers and honest plus modest inflated numbers, so someone can make a good living on it. Like, hey, this is a good piece of the pie. And then we've looked at ridiculous numbers. I'm willing to pay modestly inflated numbers for peace of mind, so I don't have a fucking headache about anything. Right? Like, hey, bro, you're making money. I'm not nickel and diming you. Make your fucking money. It's okay. I want a good job. You want a good job. Everyone will be happy. No problems. As long as there are no fucking pigs, it's not going to be an issue. But no one even wants that work. So Justin told me, even with that mentality, he said, how many hours a week were you doing during acupuncture? My peak was 34 hours a week for, I don't know, I think it was 4 months is what I had to do in addition to all my work. He goes, let's say 25 hours a week. He says, you're going to have to end up devoting 25 hours of stress each week to this project for 6 months. I said, get the fuck out of here. He goes, bro, I'm telling you, this is no joke of a project. So you guys hear me saying, oh, $1 million and this and that, and, you know, I'll just have someone fucking do it. He says, no, this is going to be a lot of fucking work on my end. And I'm not even the GC. Yeah, but you can bet your ass, but you're the one that's taking the risk.
Yes.
You know, and that's also where people get it wrong about, you know, where, you know, CEOs of different companies and stuff, you get rewarded the most if you're taking the most risk, especially as a business investor. I mean, you can't just think that you're going to, you know, put your money in and then it's like you're sleeping easy while this construction work's going. I mean, especially say like how you are anyway, you want to know all the details of everything and you don't want anyone to be fucking around. So you're going to be thinking about that thing nonstop.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And by the time, if this project goes through, which who fucking knows if it will, it's been 2 or 3 months that I've been trying to fucking do this.
Right.
And my whole offering on this house is based off of the construction estimate. Right. It took me 3 months to get 2 months to get an estimate.
Yeah.
My first estimate took me 2 months.
Right.
So the offer that I make on this house is predicated upon the fucking estimate. And I can't even get one of those yet.
Right.
So by the time this whole fucking thing is done, I'm going to know exactly how to build a fucking house from scratch. You know, like I'll be able to GC my next fucking job the way I stress about things. But it's no walk in the park.
No.
All this, but nothing ever fucking is. Like the whole idea of, well, just put your money in the S&P 500 and that. Did you ever read the book I think it's called The Intelligent Investor?
Yeah, no, I've not read it. I think that's the book. I've heard of it, something similar to that before. Yeah.
I think that's the book I read. I think I read that one. It might be that one or another one. But anyway, every book I've read on investing is, hey, invest in the index.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. Is that you don't know what the fuck you're doing, invest in the index. That's all you got to know. Invest in the index because you're not going to fucking strike gold. No one strikes gold.
Right.
So it's just going to be a lot of fucking work if you want to make substantial returns. It's going to be a lot of fucking work, but we need to do that because we're food insecure. We don't know when our next fucking meal comes sometimes in this industry. I mean, look at a guy like Justice.
Yeah.
He doesn't know when he's going to get a job next.
Right.
It could be, I remember when Buddy got fired from Pitt. It was 3 years. 3 years of me getting like, I'm going to kill myself texts.
Yeah, he was going crazy.
I'm stuck here in fucking Buffalo. I can't wait to fucking leave this place. 3 years. And who was talking to him every fucking day? And he tried to start a business like, oh, you know, no big deal. Godanga did it. I can fucking do it. Yeah, good luck. Good fucking luck. Misery.
Yep.
He's, oh, DeFranco could do it. I could do it. Dude, he was ready to fucking kill himself.
Yep.
Didn't make money. He's, I don't know how the fuck you guys do that shit. So and he's one of the best strength coaches in fucking existence. And his gym couldn't make money.
Right. But that's the whole point of the podcast of what we're doing is we're also sharing our journey of learning and trying to make sure that, I mean, I said before about not getting fucked over, but really it's actually about trying to thrive in the current climate and world that we find ourselves in. I mean, if we're honest, we take our physical health in our own hands, right? We take our mental health in our own hands. We take our financial health in our own hands. I mean, I ain't looking out thinking someone's going to come and fucking save me. No one's waking up in the first thing they think of in the morning is, let's make fucking Brooker's life. Let's give him the best fucking day in the world today. No one's thinking that. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, and that's what I think this podcast should be about. And that's why it's nice too that someone like Justin can come and lay the truth down. We keep it real. I mean, I think also that was one thing that so many guys said, oh, it's unfiltered and you say the truth about the industry. And I mean, me and Mike only talk about our own experiences. I've got no other idea about most other people's stuff, apart from if they've told me something, you know? But I mean, if we can do it with Justin and we can ask the stupid questions that no one else is willing to do, and we can learn through the whole process, and then we get some actual real, factual information rather than you get stuck into some, scam where it's like you're paying some coach to teach you how to do some bullshit that you keep seeing everywhere online nowadays. Mate, that's providing a lot of good value to people. And also we're learning at the same time because we want to be diverse. No matter what.
Mm-hmm. That way we're resilient.
Right.
So the other person that we're going to have on, and I've been trying to get him on now for 2 weeks, and it's just schedule, cancel, schedule, cancel, schedule, cancel. Mark Uyama. Mark Uyama was originally, I think he was the highest paid strength coach in the NFL.
I believe so. I remember you saying that years back.
When he
James
was
too, I think said.
Yeah, when he was he's like the fucking OG fucking motherfucker with he was with the 49ers. And he was the highest paid strength coach in the NFL at the time. And he made it through like 4 coaches. I think he was like one of the first strength coaches to make it through like that many coaching changes. And then finally he got axed. And then he ended up landing a job right away with the Vikings. And then after, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, he got axed again. Now he's not in coaching. And he's thrilled to death.
Yeah, I bet.
Now, this is a guy that was at the pinnacle of the industry. For years, he was the highest paid guy, or one of. He was that top 1% that we're talking about. And in the NFL, they don't pay what they do in college. And he was still one of the highest paid guys in the country. Mm-hmm. And he used the connections that we made as strength coaches, the connections that he made, to segue into entrepreneurship. What a great idea. What a great fucking idea. So this guy, now, again, from a money perspective, what a great idea. But if your passion is strength and conditioning, I understand. Like, we got into this not for money. I didn't become a strength coach to make money.
Yeah.
If I'm my father's son, I'm very confident that whatever he accomplished, I'd come very, very close to accomplishing it. We're very, very similar, right? We're always supposed to be whatever our parents are 2.0. Like, that's the whole point. So could I do what he did? I'm pretty certain that we'd be able to do comparable things. And if making money was my goal, I remember what I said to him is when I was making like 30 grand a year. My dad was like, "Oh, you're not making any fucking money. You're going to be poor your whole fucking life. You better change how you do things." I said, "Dad, honestly, like, if I'm DeFranco's number 2 making 50 grand a year for the rest of my life, I'm very, very happy." He says, "You fucking loser." Right? Like, I didn't get into this to make money, but now that I'm in this situation of being an owner, I never wanted to be an owner. There's responsibilities that come with being an owner if you're going to have employees.
Sure. But you've also evolved and changed. And I mean, that's the whole point of it too, right? Like, you're not the same man as you was when you were flipping 22 years old.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, like, there's no way that you would want to be working for someone now. You're unemployable like me. I probably take it to a different level because the element of risk is just stupid in my head. Like, I'd rather sleep under a fucking bridge than really work for someone. And I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, but that's just how it is in my head. But I don't think you'd be able to work for someone else, man.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't know. I think I'm easy, man. If you give me rules to follow, all right, man, I'll follow within these lines. And if you need me to blur the lines, like, you just tell me. So if it's either within my scope or it's not within my scope. Right now, to be honest with you, where I feel like where I'm the least effective is when I have no fucking rules. Like, right now, I have no fucking rules. I do whatever the fuck I want, which is why it's taken me so long to build this fucking business. But if I was someone else, if I was DeFranco's number 2 again, I'd be just fine. I just need to make now with the way, not my lifestyle. My lifestyle is exactly the same as it was when I was making 30 grand a year. They were just fucking pathetic. But when I was working for him, I was very, very happy doing what I was doing. Just coaching guys. Like, being a full-time coach, like, that's cool because now I could go home and I could go to sleep. Right. And I don't have to read about finance, and I don't have to read about this, and I have to read about all that stuff and how to grow a business. Now I hone in on my fucking craft, and it enables me to do what I wanted to do, which was be the best strength coach that I possibly could be, like be one of the best in the world. Now it has to change. Right.
But those elements too of being a good number 2 somewhere too. Again, there's no perfect position or place to be. What happens if the place goes bust? What happens if the owner makes the wrong decision? What happens if the owner his reputation gets slandered? What happens if he just wakes up one day and says, fuck you, and then you're gone? I mean, there is you either take all the responsibility or you don't take none of it.
Yeah.
No, I think with everything.
There's yin and yang to absolutely every aspect, every decision. 100%. Got to take the bad in with the good.
Right.
So I understand that, but unemployable? No, I don't think, and bro, you talk shit, but you can absolutely be employed by someone with no fucking problem. No problem. Yeah, you're just like me.
Of course, I could work with people, and we've spoke about this many times before. If we was to go into a normal job, like whatever, go and work for a bank or something like that, could we be successful? Of course we could, 100%. It's just if we really want to do it.
Yeah. So,
and I wouldn't.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
And it appears that Uwe wants to now he's still doing like health and fitness type stuff. But I think he's working with like a tech company, so he's going to go. He's going to go into that.
Right.
I'm helping tech companies with certain side things here and there, but through the utilization of our network.
Right.
So this is how you could generate extra income, guys. No matter what school you're at, you have access to 100 people that can buy a product.
Yeah.
You can make money off that. Now, I'm not saying you got to be Johnny fucking wheel and dealer. And sitting there like, hey, I got a fucking ding for you. Like you don't have to do that shit, but you can make money off of your network. The strength coach, who do you know? You know all the head coaches for all the fucking sports teams. And if there's a genuinely useful product, you can help them place with product placement and with education. So there's always residual income to be made. There's always a side income to be made. You guys just need to learn, we just need to learn how to access it and how to cultivate it and grow it.
Right. I think though the most important thing is it has to originate from you. You've got to really just want to do it, because you can get so caught up and lost in how do I do it and how have these other people done it. And I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to really want to be, you got to really want to take the risk and understand that you're also going to be learning through this whole process, right? Like, I mean, information-based products, on a long enough time scale, who gives a shit anyway? Straight away at the beginning. I mean, if you continue to keep doing stuff, people are going to forget about the original stuff that you've been doing anyway. Because if you're going to continue to get better at things, I mean, say for example, you pick any author that's written 100 books, no one cares about the first couple that he wrote when he's ended up releasing some absolute bangers in the middle of it, So, and not everything you do is going to be great and perfect. So, I don't know. I think in the coaching world, there's a lot of value that people can provide. I mean, there's so many people in the world. What seems so obvious to us, if you take 90% of people, like normal people outside of your field and industry, and you start talking to them about basic things to do with health, nutrition, wellness, sleep, they ain't got a monkeys about anything, and everybody's network is different. So like the people that say the 1,000 people in the world that I know and 1,000 people in the world that me and you are close, and we've been close for many, many years, but our network is still vastly different.
Yeah.
Right. So, and yeah, I don't know. I think, in terms of networking, it's funny that we mentioned that. I think one of the most important factors is who can you like get on the phone? Who can you call up, ask for help, ask for some money, ask for some advice. I mean, that's very, very key in what you're able to do. I mean, and then, cultivating your environment. I mean, everybody knows that their environment is very important, but we also get to pick our environment too, who you're hanging around with, who your friends are. I mean, if your parents are toxic or not, but regardless of anything, you can always pick and choose to get into a better environment. And I think that makes a huge difference too for everything of what you're doing. I mean, if you're surrounded by guys that are, I don't know, there's so many of these things. You hang around gardeners all day, you're going to know different things about, soil and plants and shit just because they're always talking about it.
You're a product of the 5 guys you hang around most.
Right. And I mean, it's funny that, maybe this can also be the place where we end up topping it off. Guys like the fact that we sit here and talk shit. Me and you are just talking just to talk. And we were saying for years before this podcast, we should do a podcast. We should just, guys like to listen to us talk, blah, blah, blah. What do we talk about most of the time, man? We never talk about coaching.
Yeah.
Do we? Never. Never. And even though it's funny, I'm sure that a lot of our coaching stuff is very, very similar. If we was to look, if we was to sit in on each other, I'm pretty sure it'd be, 80% more or less the same kind of stuff with different, twings on it from our different perspectives. But the thing that we speak about most is about, how to make sure that we're kind of like in control of our life, how to make sure that we're thriving. And that stuff is like, you got to look at a bird's eye point of view. It's like taking full responsibility for everything. We talk more about money, business ideas, family, like psychology, fucking health, not training, health, food wise, sleep wise. I mean, that's what we're interested in the most. And that's what we talk about all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And all that stuff shapes our ability to coach.
Yes.
Because if anything health related is off, then our coaching is going to be off. Right. I know if I don't have any money in my fucking bank account, am I thinking about coaching the hell out of this kid? No.
Right.
No. Like the only way you could do what you want to do is if you have a fucking clear mind.
Yep.
And there are things that should be on your fucking mind if they're not taken care of. And that's totally normal. One of the things, a little segue actually, one of the things that people had reached out to me on my account and talked about was they liked that I talked about how open I was with my lack of mental health, my anxiety and shit like that. One of the reasons why I have anxiety is because I'm thinking about the future, anticipatory anxiety, thinking about the future of my life, my finances, and all these things. Having a certain amount of money reduced my anxiety so fucking much because now I know, fuck it. If I don't want to fucking do something, I ain't got to do dick.
Right.
Because I got enough money fucking saved that I don't have to fucking take shit from this client. You could go fuck yourself. Get the fuck out of here. I don't have to drive all the way down there if I don't want to. Everything I do is by choice because I have enough freedom that I can buy with my current lifestyle, probably 10 years, and not worry about a fucking thing.
Right. But it makes a lot of sense. You know that, you know, and these personality assessments, they're not the be all and end all, but you know that you're a neurotic guy on the spectrum of, you know, between 0 and 100th percentile. You're definitely swaying towards more neurotic than unneurotic.
92
right?
percentile, I believe.
Right. There you go. I thought it was something in the 90s, but I couldn't remember exactly. And what does that mean? That means that you need a sense of security. Well, you're not secure where you live as one of the most expensive places in the world unless you've got, you know, some cash in the bank, you know. And also you've seen, like, for example, I mean, you know, like your dad lose a lot of money and the stress that that's had on you as a kid and all of these kind of things. So it all makes complete sense.
Yeah. So like knowing your personality too. Like
Yeah,
I know
knowing yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta find the what's it called? The big 5 person. I gotta read these to you guys. Have we gone over these before?
We've gone over these. We've gone over these before. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, our audience has grown.
Ours are more or less the same, apart from a few key ones. You're 92nd percentile neurotic. I'm 2 percentile neurotic.
That's so funny.
And then I think, what is it? Is it openness is also a big difference?
Where the fuck is this shit? I gotta find this because I have it. It's really fucking good. It's what is it? Understandingmyself.com.
Yeah.
And I took the fucking person. Here we go. I took the personality test, but I don't have yours written down here.
I've got mine here right in front of me.
So I'll read you guys all my traits. I don't know if this is smart for me to fucking read this shit so you guys can evaluate me, but whatever. I don't give a fuck. Agreeableness. Agreeableness is a combination of 2 traits, compassion and politeness. My agreeableness is ranked in the 50 percentile. So sometimes I'm agreeable, sometimes I'm not. Compassion.
I'm 43rd percent agreeable.
Compassion. What are you?
Moderately high, 70th percentile.
I'm 93%.
Right.
So when people tell me I'm not, oh, you're not fucking empathetic, you're right, but I am compassionate. There's very few people and this is based off of what, like 10,000 or 100,000 fucking people?
I don't know. Nowadays it's probably way more, I guess.
So I'm in the 93rd percentile of compassion, but the 4th percentile in politeness.
21st percentile politeness.
Bro, I'm such a cunt.
Truth. Fact.
Conscientiousness, 56th percentile. Which is a combination of orderliness and industriousness. Industriousness, 38th percentile, and orderliness, I'm 71st percentile.
So industriousness, I'm moderately high, 73rd percentile, but orderliness, very low, 7th percentile.
Which is why when Brooker lived with me, I was fucking angry all the fucking time.
So orderliness, they never use and positively dislike schedules, lists, routines, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
What's industriousness? Read that one.
Moderately industrial people are quite likely to judge shirkers or people who are incompetent in a negative manner. They tend to believe that people fail because they don't apply themselves or work hard enough. They are definitely capable of feeling a sense of personal failure and guilt if they do not live up to their duties. However, because they usually stay on schedule and accept responsibility, they generally avoid experience actual guilt. Those who are liberal and those who are conservatives appear equally industrious. Men are slightly more industrious than women. Blah, 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 blah.
So then it's extroversion, which is a summation of enthusiasm and assertiveness. I am 92nd percentile for extroversion.
95th percentile extroversion.
Oh, fuck. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then my enthusiasm was 89 and my assertiveness was 88.
Enthusiasm, 92nd percentile. Assertiveness, 91st percentile.
Yeah, bro. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Then neuroticism, here we go, which is a combination of withdrawal and volatility. Neuroticism, 92nd percentile.
There you go. Yeah, I wasn't second. It's 7th percentile. 7.
And then withdrawal, 91st percentile, and volatility, 89th percentile.
12% with 12% withdrawal, and where am I here? I don't have volatility. That's where it ends on mine. That's crazy.
Oh, I guess you didn't copy it properly.
Yeah.
Then how about openness to experience? You're not on there?
Yeah, no, I've got that.
I'm in the
30th.
30th.
The paragraphs are all messed up on mine.
Okay. I'm in the 30th percentile for openness to experience.
71st percentile. And I thought I'd be more than that.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
So openness, I am 57th percentile, and intellect, 14th percentile.
Intellect, 47th percentile. Openness, 84th.
So just so everyone is clear, this isn't intelligence, it's intellect. No. It's your ability to view ideas abstractly.
Yeah.
So I am a very black and white person. Like by definition now, like I'm in the 14th percentile of my ability to see things abstractly, which is one of the reasons why I went to acupuncture school, and it just fucking made me more closed-minded.
How confused are you about the world, and since you've done acupuncture school?
Oh, bro, like I'm like Johnny fucking man with the hammer syndrome because of my intellect. So I just tried to get more tools, and
right,
man, I just saw how fucking stupid some tools were. But so yeah, that's it. How did we get into that?
I don't know, bro.
Oh. So no. It was with my anxiety.
I knowing yourself. Yeah,
but so I understand who the fuck I am. Right. I know my neuroticism. So withdrawal and volatility and neuroticism. Neuroticism, these are all considered negative emotions. These are the negative emotions. That's what they call them. Okay. Right. That's just how they're characterized. I don't know anyone that's super successful that's not super neurotic. Okay.
Yeah, and also how I mean, I understand. I mean, of course, crippling anxiety, especially when it's sort of unnecessary, is not a good thing. But you think like someone like Elon Musk doesn't get anxious?
He doesn't sleep because he's so anxious.
Right, exactly. If you're trying to do anything great, you're going to be struggling with anxiety for sure.
100%.
You know, it's just I don't know. There's so much that we judge to be like good and bad, and I don't want this to be, and I want it more to be like this. There's so much unnecessary suffering going on because of that. I mean, if you're trying to do something really difficult, for sure you're going to be fucking anxious, man. All the greatest artists, musicians, any highly creative people, they go through the most crazy mood swings too, because their emotional level, I mean, not all of them, but super high or super low. That doesn't mean, you know, you don't hear them saying, oh, I'm so happy right now. I feel like amazing that this is really bad. No, they're going, this is great. And then they're already, as soon as they're on their way down, judging it to be really bad, you know? So, but yeah, I mean, you being a business owner, you ain't getting away from anxiety. No fucking chance. No chance. So but as soon as you understood it, that I know that because I was with you through the process of it, it made it much more easier because you understood it. That's just the way that I am.
With withdrawal, this is who I am. This isn't, you know, like it's okay. Can I change some things? Maybe, maybe not. But and this obviously is not an absolute fucking, you know, this isn't a death sentence. This isn't who you are. Like you know, for better or worse, you could absolutely change some things. But this enables me to understand how and why I think what I do.
Right.
So withdrawal. What is withdrawal? Withdrawal is the impact that something will have on you. Can you read the withdrawal definition?
Yeah, I'm just looking for it. Yeah.
So people that are very high in withdrawal have a lot of anticipatory anxiety.
Right. So I'm low in withdrawal. So it says here, individuals low in withdrawal rarely suffer from or are impeded by anticipatory anxiety. They can handle new, uncertain, unexpected, threatening, or complex situations well. They are substantially less likely to avoid or withdraw in the face of the unknown and unexpected. People with low levels of withdrawal tend not to feel sad, lonesome, disappointed, and grief-stricken. And if they do, not deeply nor for long. They experience much lower than normal levels of doubt and worry, embarrassment, self-consciousness, and discouragement in the face of threat and punishment. They are quite resistant to and rarely worried about social rejection and rarely feel hurt or threatened. Even when actually hurt, frightened, or anxious, they recover easily and quickly. People with low levels of withdrawal are not worriers. Technically, withdrawal has been associated with activity in the brain systems that regulate passive avoidance.
So it's really interesting. I am very low in politeness and very high in withdrawal. So you with passive avoidance, that just ain't my fucking forte.
So but, you're a prick, and then as soon as someone's a prick back, it's up being bad.
Yeah.
Right.
So I understand that I'm going to have crippling anxiety with new situations, and then the volatility, my volatility is 89%, which means when shit hits the fan. So with new situations, I know I'm going to be terrified. I'm going to have anxiety. Right. So me having to go out to LA and getting on a plane terrified me.
Right.
Terrified me. The only thing that got me on the plane was a paycheck. That's the only thing that got me on the plane was, all right, I'm going to make X amount of money. Just no one's making this money this week. You got to make this money this week. That's it. The only thing that got me on the fucking plane.
Right.
And then once I got on the plane, I was like, oh, this ain't so fucking bad.
Right.
But the thought of doing it crippled me. And I'm neurotic. So I thought about it over and over and over and over again. And then then the volatility, once something goes wrong, boom, I fucking dude, I get shithoused with emotions. So I understand how brutal I am on myself when shit does go wrong. So the thought of something goes wrong prevents me from fucking doing anything, which is why I'm the fucking, guinea that didn't leave Jersey.
Right. I found volatility for me. What do you reckon?
Oh, you're fucking 20%.
7th percentile.
Yeah. You're fucking smooth. Like nothing bothers you, which is why you were able. And this is why, to me, this is why our podcast is so awesome, is because we are yin and yang, but we're still the fucking same, because you're the guy that could go off to South America for 18 months and not give a fuck, not give a monkeys about fucking shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but I think in a lot of the more important ones, especially for me, like sort of more the value-based ones, we're really similar. And that's also that's why it works so good between us. And we've been like best friends since we first met, more or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, I've been your best friend since we first met, but I didn't start liking you for a while.
Fantastic.
Let's end this shit here. We've been fucking riffing now for over an hour.
Yeah, let's do it.